next year's looking already promising. More promising.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we know of the portfolio and all that. So next year we've got a lot of cool things coming in. I can't even imagine what will happen in 3 years.
That was a frustrating teaser from Anuj. No, just hinting and not saying anything more.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode on Ctrl+Alt+Rec. Today we are joined by Anuj, who is our CMO, as well as Murali, who is the president of Xiaomi India. And today we have a few interesting topics that we're going to be talking about, starting with AI. Now, AI has been the buzzword, I think, for almost everyone for quite a while. But I think Xiaomi has always had AI in some level or the other, right? Even before it became cool or became the buzzword, we've had AI at some form or the other. I think the easiest thing that people would remember is the sky replacement tool that we had.
That was K20 Pro.
Yeah, which was what, 2018?
2019.
19 onwards. So since then we've had AI. But I think it's good to see that others are catching up. But even now, as we are actually calling it AI and we're introducing these new features, one of the coolest things that I have been able to try is the AI portrait feature, right? And this is something that we've had on the Xiaomi 14, 14 Ultra and 14 CV. And there are a bunch of other features as well. But a good announcement that we have for our fans as well as customers is the fact that we are going beyond beta and actually rolling this feature out publicly. So that's, I think, something for people to try. And even in beta, the results were very promising.
Right.
I think it managed to give me a six-pack, which itself
I
says a
remember seeing
lot.
that.
Yeah. So that it's a great thing.
I still don't have a AI portrait. You have to find 25 images to
Yeah.
train the model.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Just
You don't have 25 pictures of yourself?
It doesn't have, yeah. So I think we were trying to get Anuj's bit. We couldn't get that 25 images. So we'll need to figure out a separate photo shoot. But beyond that, once you go past that, it's actually much easier than generating these.
Once
pretty
it's
cool,
done.
yeah. But what has been your experience, Anuj, from a product perspective on AI, and how is our implementation so far compared to the rest of the
I
industry?
mean, it's still very early years, right? And at the moment, the advantage of AI, if I look at from an industry perspective also, is still limited. It's obviously the camera aspects have to be built in, but then I see a lot of other AI aspects in beta, which are, say, summarize my text or something like that. Nothing that a independent app could not do.
Okay.
It needs to go well beyond it to at least excite me personally.
So essentially, you're saying that there is a solution already. It's just that it's baked in here.
Yeah.
But any example of what that could be for you, like for you personally?
For me,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's for me. I keep going back to probably there was this vision film of NTT Docomo in Japan when they were initially talking about what data could do for you. I think this is 2003, and so they had this vision of things getting automated. You're driving home and your home starts kind of acting as per thing, because they said, okay, if data is connected, then all of these things are possible, and that is in fact true. But now that we've reached a good level of data, how does it make my life easier beyond just simple text summaries and all that? I think that becomes more important. So, for example, can I have my home door lock automatically primed or not, versus, I mean, compared to if I'm in the house or not? Or if I have home security cameras, if I am inside the house, then I only want automatically the outdoor cameras to be working, but not the indoor ones. And if I'm getting close, can the AC come on? Can the lights come on? Right?
Sort of contextual basis.
So,
what's in you.
and if it's AI, it should be able to learn and run that fairly quickly, which I don't really see anyone kind of deploying it yet.
But I think that sort of subliminal AI layer is something also we have had for a while, especially with respect to charging, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Instead of going outright and charging, say, to 100% when you plug it in at night, it understands that this is when you typically wake up. So it sort of does trickle charging overnight and ensures by the time you wake up is when it
starts
hits
going up.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that for sure will be the future. And talking about AI in future, Murali, any thoughts as to how this is going to change maybe consumer behavior, their consumption patterns, or how is it actually going to impact the overall tech industry, not just from a Gen AI perspective?
Cool. Glad you mentioned that. Let me take a step back.
Yeah.
Smartphones had AI before AI became cool.
Yeah.
That's a headline. And that is true. A lot of the hype that we see today is thanks to generative AI, and more specifically, not just generative AI, but the fact that when was this? This was November 2022, where OpenAI went and put a chat layer on top,
Yeah.
right? And that's when it truly became humanized to a certain extent, and therefore became usable and captured people's imagination. But that doesn't mean that AI has been nowhere kind of originated at that point of time. It's been there for umpteen number of years. There is AI which is powering processor optimization in terms of what thread needs priority. There's AI which is powering battery optimization, figuring out how much battery various apps are using, how to optimize that. There is AI and battery charging technology, as you spoke about it. And even to a certain extent, your adaptive screen refresh rate is also a quasi example of AI. So AI has been there for a while, powering smartphones. And the way I see this is today, while of course there is excitement around generative AI as an application, and rightfully so, because like I said, it's humanized it. The true power of AI is to me as a foundational layer, as a utility layer, and that AI is contextual, right? In the sense that it kicks in at the right context when required. Number one. Number two, it is personalized because it understands your previous behavior. And number three, it is meant to make things more efficient. Right? A lot of the human interactions that otherwise take time, effort, and cognitive capacity can get offloaded to AI. I'll give you one very simple example. It is trivial. We all sit in conference rooms. There is a television, and we connect an HDMI cable to our laptops. Like, for heaven's sake, can't AI figure out that it is HDMI 1 or HDMI 2 and connect automatically? Right? I mean, this is the simplest example of AI that I want to see changing my life. Right? Where the television or whatever system is projecting the HDMI on knows which laptop is connected, and it connects automatically. Stuff like this, and we can build on to fancier use cases from there. But if you can get this, I believe this is step one in the journey.
I think a superset of AI is probably machine learning.
Right.
And some of these OTTs do machine learning really well, right? Netflix, like for you to log into Netflix versus I logging into Netflix, we see very, very different stuff based on our history.
The curation,
right?
essentially.
And it's I think the best AI was actually TikTok. I mean, when I think for a long time I kind of looked down upon it, and then 2019 I said, okay, let me sign in once to see what's it about. For the first 45 minutes, it showed me all the wrong things, which I'm assuming that's why people used to keep talking about it in Twitter, saying, oh, we should do this, we should do that. And after that, the entire thing was curated so well that I couldn't actually peel my eyes off, right? So
you're hooked onto it.
Yeah, my interest, my discovery, all of that just changed so significantly, even if I was not interacting with that actively. So it was measuring a whole lot of other things.
Right. That's crazy. Just the number of seconds that you spend on a shot,
Correct.
etc., etc., just crazy, uncanny. I'll give you my example. For me, it's Spotify. Right, I am locked into Spotify because it knows my music listening habits, those recommendations, the playlist. I am locked in. Right? There is no way out, and it's only getting smarter with the recommendations. Right? It of course figures like mainstream what I like. It makes certain suggestions, and then it has these offbeat
Offbeat
recommendations, which are the truly exciting one, because that enables discovery.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, you're just blinkered in your music tastes, and that helps expand it. So that's quite cool.
But one interesting thing that Murali was talking about, right? Saying the computation that AI can bring in. I actually want, and I sometimes think about this a lot because I spend like an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening in traffic. AI with the computational power, and if we have enough sensors to be able to map out, say, a city like Bangalore, that's probably the only way we can solve for the traffic issues. Right? So you are connected, you are seeing every aspect of the inputs.
I think someone already has it, and that's the Bangalore auto guys. They have some sort of AI. They figure out the smallest of roads, but I think they always have the fastest routes. I don't
Oh,
know if you'll agree
no,
with
Yeah,
this.
but Google Maps seems to be following that and
Yeah, yeah, that's
always
true.
takes
That's
you
true.
down the worst
Wrong route.
possible
Yeah,
route
that's true.
from point A to point
Or
B.
dead ends also. Possibly. Yeah,
Crazy, crazy,
yeah.
unbelievably crazy.
so geospatial AI, hopefully in the next, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years,
Hmm.
finally starts solving these large scale problems.
Yeah, I think so. All in all, when you think of it, currently AI requires some sort of prompt. There's an intervention required from the human side to essentially produce something, whether it's generative or helping you from a productivity or whatever standpoint. It requires that prompt, number one.
Yeah.
And I think, like you rightly said, figuring out what is our need without us prompting is probably the next big thing that could unlock that potential.
Which is what I call augmented intelligence. I
Hmm.
think the term artificial is doing a disservice to the potential of that technology. Right? The moment you start considering this as augmented intelligence, where that intelligence is augmenting human intelligence and making you smarter, more efficient, more productive, I think that is when the true power of AI, and in my frame of reference, augmented intelligence, that's when it has the true impact.
Which also sort of puts people's minds at ease that is AI going to replace my job? I think that's a topic which has also
Yeah,
been there in
correct.
the past. I think
Correct.
for computers when we started getting them as well, right?
but
Correct.
yeah, I think, like, the augmented intelligence, and we've seen certain examples of this with the SU7, right? Which Lezong had shown earlier. So autonomous driving, but taking all of those inputs in. I think there was another one, right, where he had shown this, like, you get dropped off,
Yeah, the parking
and
lot
then
thing.
and then the car goes and figures out its own parking space.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
these small things, right,
Crazy.
which basically, I mean, why are we doing tech? Why do we have tech, right?
Yeah.
To make our lives easier.
Easier. Hmm.
So these are the things which will make our lives easier. Like, imagine, I mean, I know Bangalore, I know Delhi. The biggest question when you have, if you are going out with your friends, is where will you park your car,
Yeah, true.
right?
True.
Like, the car will park itself, right? You're not bothered.
And I think even in that same example, it anticipated that a car was coming out, stopped accordingly, and then waited for the car to pass and then went and parked. So it is able to.
I don't know if you start waiting for cars in Bangalore, you'll ever be able to go through.
Yeah, that is true. In Bangalore, maybe we need something a bit more advanced.
But actually, right now,
So maybe these automated cars are best suited in Lucknow, Pehle up.
I think it'll need like both, right? So if there's a geospatial AI and your car AI, and all of it works together, then it'll be the fastest way to kind of get around.
Yeah.
But I think we are quite away from that. But at least from the devices that we have, how can it kind of give a better input? How can it help with more improved content creation?
But like
all
the
of that's-
way at which, or the pace at which it's evolving
Yeah.
is quite crazy. Because like Murali said, 2022 November is when we saw ChatGPT, the initial form, and now when we look at what is capable, what we can do, it's come a really long way. And we were trying that out, right, at the launch. Whatever you were trying was absolutely insane. So I think that's maybe, I don't know, are we going to see a compounded effect in terms of advancement, or is it still going to take some time?
No, I think it's exponential from here.
Probably limited only by not processing capability, but processing capacity. Because that very clearly with NVIDIA, we are seeing challenges on that front. So it's more capacity which is going to be the constraint, not capability.
Right. Makes sense. I think, another term that sort of, at least in 2024, used in conjunction with AI is premiumization as well, right? And I think for us, this year has been a great journey so far with the sort of products that we have introduced, as well as the other value additions that we bring about products, especially something like a Priority Club that we have. I think obviously we heard feedback from users, from fans, as well as the media friends that we have, and all of them did point to saying that there is a certain thing that we wish Xiaomi had provided, and I think this year we were able to provide just that with Priority Club. Any thoughts from your side, Murali, on what exactly Priority Club entails, and how do you see that shaping over the next couple of years, for instance, for our users?
Understanding why and how we are doing Priority Club. To do that, it's important to understand the context under which such initiatives are pursued. Starting 2024, we have embarked on a multi-year journey to pursue this goal of being the most preferred and pioneering smartphone into IoT brand for the aspirational Indian. Um, and for that, one of the key pillars is to have a step up end to end and make pretty much everything that we do across every aspect of the value chain, across every price point, more premiumized, right? We call this end to end premiumization or total premiumization. And that premiumization, it's important to note that it's not just about launching expensive flagship devices with cutting edge innovation and killer specs, right? It because for the longest time we've been extremely strong as a brand that appeal to the entry level segment and the mid market, right? We've had the Redmi A series, the number series, the Redmi Note series, and those have become extremely strong franchises. But a lot of those customers who used a Redmi Note 3-4 years ago are now ready to upgrade their devices, and it's important for us to handhold them along that journey and provide compelling choices for them. But we also realize that the market at that price band, there are other options, right? And we need to stand out and be considered in what is becoming an increasingly crowded marketplace, even for premium devices. And therefore, when we say end-to-end premiumization, it has to touch every aspect of the value chain: product, both hardware and software, which we have obviously managed. I mean, the specs for Xiaomi 14, 14 Ultra, 14 CV are now well known, but HyperOS is making such a big difference in providing a more efficient, cleaner, leaner, lighter experience for the users, far faster software updates being provided. So that's taking care of the hardware. The packaging needs to get upgraded, the logistics needs to get upgraded, the distribution, the retail experience need to get upgraded. And over the past couple of years, we've been investing behind stepping up that capability in terms of the retail touch points, shop in shop, having in-store promoters who are well trained, who are able to handhold customers and educate them on the right purchase decision making process. And then we come to the service experience, right, which are the softer aspects. Now let's understand, when somebody needs after sales or customer support, 99 times out of 100, it is not because they are happy. Right?
Yeah.
You always reach out to after sales or customer support when something wrong happens. Your device is not working, it's heating up, you're not liking the camera, it's hanging, etc., etc. There could be 101 issues. Maybe it's not connecting to the network, the speaker is not right, you're not happy with the quality of calls, etc. There are issues that you face, and which is why you reach out to after sales or customer support. Now, our endeavor, especially for users of premium Xiaomi devices, is to make sure that experience of reaching out to after sales center or customer support is as trouble free as possible with the lowest possible effort. Now, let me confess, I cannot take away the pain that you're going through. It has happened. But given that it has happened, what can I do to ensure that the rest of the process is as pain-free as possible? That is the endeavor. And that's why we envisage Priority Club, which is like a red carpet, a purple glove service. Velvet glove service, not purple, velvet glove service, where you get priority appointments. Your device can get picked up and dropped back to your home or residence, as the case may be. You want to talk to a customer support agent, no more going through the IVR maze. You straight land on a human who will understand your problem and solve it, and that person will be a relationship manager holding that issue to the end. So every time you call, you're not going to land up on a new
You have the
person.
same person who's contextually available.
Exactly. So otherwise, when the next time you call any customer support center, there's a new chap, and you have to repeat the entire history, right? Unfortunately, that's how the system is built. So we said let's eliminate that, and this is just the beginning, right? We'll keep building other layers of service to Priority Club members, and we're very clear. We will invite premium customers of Xiaomi into the Priority Club. Premium devices like the Xiaomi 14, 14 Ultra, 14 Civi. We had the 13 Pro last year. Some of our premium televisions are Xiaomi Robo vacuum cleaners. So we'll curate a certain set of products, invite them to the Priority Club. You can use the Xiaomi Service Plus app to sign up for the Priority Club. And after that, we will not just go the extra mile, we'll go the extra tens of miles to ensure that your experience is in safe hands, and that's the direction that we are going towards.
So I think, like you mentioned, the process of sometimes getting in touch with the service center tends to be a pain point, which is why you often see people resort to Twitter or these other platforms, even when the issue might be very small and could be easily fixed.
Yeah.
I think with Service Plus and right now Priority Club also making that access easier, it gives them a channel to easily get the problem fixed. Like, could be just a simple software update, could be something that does not even require a service center visit or the phone to go away or whatever product it is. What other things are we also planning maybe in the future to help sort of bridge that gap? Any insights that you want to give?
Some of it, Sandeep, is actually already done. For the last year and a half, we've been implementing a solution that's called 3-level escalation, right? And a lot of that is focused on social media. Now, we understand nobody enjoys going in and venting their ire on social media in and of themselves, right? We believe people are basically good, but situations force that to happen. When that happens, you need to have the right remedial mechanism to take care of these situations. Ignoring it is the worst possible thing to do, right? Putting that through the regular process is the second worst thing to do, right? It just needs a different kind of attention. So we put together a 3-level escalation process, right? First, it goes to a service tech. Second level, it goes to the head of customer service. Third level comes straight to my office, the office of the president, right? And I have a dedicated set of people who have a clear mandate in terms of turnaround and KPIs to resolve it. And this is not yet another team, this is an empowered team. So they can take decisions and get things closed to ensure that the customer's interests are protected, while at the same time, so are the company's interests. It's not that you will bend over backwards for every single issue if you're not at fault, right? But if the customer's issue is genuine, right, we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that it is resolved at the earliest possible, right? Typically, we'll try and do this within 48 to 72 hours. But that being said, in certain cases, let's say there is a specific part which is not available, right? We'll ensure that it's procured. There, it's not going to be possible to get it done within 72 hours.
But the communication is still
We will communicate a specific ETA, and my team is following up to ensure that ETA is met. Typically, there are people getting onto calls every day saying, "Hey, this is ETA is 5 days from now. Are you on track? Are you on track? Are you on track?" Right? And this is a process of continuous learning, continuous enhancement. We don't claim to be perfect, right? But we will keep trying to go closer towards perfection. It's a journey, it is not an absolute. Even after 1 year, sure, there'll be points of improvement. We take feedback, we will work on it.
So I think that's a great start, and I think it should be a continuous process of continually improving it. And I think one thing that folks perhaps do not know enough is the fact that all these devices, we'll put the list on screen, but these devices are already part of Priority Club. There's no separate thing that you need to do. You're already eligible. All you need to do is head into the Service Plus app and sort of join and enroll or enlist your device as part of it. And I think we've spoken about service. Next, I wanted to also touch briefly on the software aspect of things, right? I think we have sort of got a lot of feedback from people saying that, we need to improve the quality of updates, consistency of updates, and overall software experience. And very happy to say that I think we have done all that, and we are continuously trying to improve that. Especially the past, I think 1 month or so, we have rolled out quite a lot of updates across devices, across segments. And I think a big change is rather the change log itself, which now has been added.
I think the first aspect obviously was to get the software updates going. Right? So I think after HyperOS, those things have started coming in. Right? And it's been designed in such a way that you've got that coverage. But the team also is scaling up.
Yes.
So the team was like, okay, let's get a update, let's test it, and let's roll it out. Changelog wasn't really at the top of the mind. But yeah, I mean, that's the understanding, that's the consumer feedback coming in saying that, okay, if you got an update, tell us
what is it,
what to expect. So that's just started to come in. But it's all, additives in terms of journey that we're taking in terms of a massive software overhaul. Right. So after about 13 years of
13
MIUI, we've switched, and obviously the reason of switch was partly the first topic that we had was AI. Right? How do you bring that in? Second aspect was Xiaomi is now gone to a space where it's not a phone company anymore. Uh, that had changed a little bit in 2014-15 when it was phones plus certain
Yeah.
smart devices. But now with the car, right, how do you have all of this? I mean, obviously we've got
Yeah.
probably the widest portfolio as well as the number of users in terms of smart devices in the world. How do you ensure that all of this works properly?
Yeah. I think that part is actually quite interesting, right? We started off as a software company. MIUI was the first product, and like Lezong had recently in his annual speech, he mentioned about courage. So it takes a great deal of courage to sort of say that MIUI has been great for us, but now what does the next n number of years look like for us? And taking that giant leap, I think, was a great decision, and I think we are seeing the benefits of it, like you said, across the portfolio as well. And I think looking forward, we've also had that entire approach where we announced on our 10-year anniversary that while we have sold 25 crore smartphones, and while we have shipped 35 crore devices overall, over the next 10 years we're doing 70 crore additional, right? Which is actually a huge number, essentially doubling what we did in the past 10 years. Any thoughts, Murali, on that? How exactly do you see that happening, or where is the courage coming from to actually go ahead and call that out?
Yeah, 700 million stretch goal. It's important to understand a few larger trends that have served as an inspiration for that stretch goal. One is the nature of the industry itself is changing, not just in India, but across the entire globe. Scale is important because scale determines how much you can invest behind technology R&D, your control of the supply chain, etc. So large brands will only get larger. And in a few years' time, there'll probably be maybe 3 brands doing above 200 million volumes globally in smartphones.
Got it. Yeah.
Scale is important. Second is, I think the days of standalone brands, especially for smartphones, the clock is ticking.
I mean, single category.
Yeah, just operating in one
Yeah.
category. And therefore, we believe ecosystem brands which are able to weave together multiple devices that work together and therefore are able to touch a customer's life pretty much 24/7, both inside the home and outside, will start mattering a lot more because you're able to influence the customer so much more. And the customer, therefore, is dependent on you. And therefore, that sense of lock-in leading to loyalty and advocacy. So this is larger on the industry. Then coming to India, the consumer is evolving, right? Clearly, the nature of the growth in the economy and how the middle class is growing will continue growing. And will probably become, 4, 5x the current over the course of the next 10, 15 years, spearheading a huge consumerist economy with also demographically and geographically various smaller markets today. A tier 5, tier 6 city will become a tier 2, tier 3 city in the next 5 to 10 years. That again will unlock more demand. There is the role of financial inclusion and therefore access to finance, which is unlocking more opportunity in terms of going up the price curve. So the consumer is evolving. Technology, of course, as we've discussed with AI and a whole host of other things, and more processing capacity, technology is also evolving. Now, if I were to put all of this together, right, what is the future that we see for ourselves in India? One, of course, smartphones as a category will continue growing. We believe over the course of the next decade, maybe a 6 odd percent CAGR won't be unusual, because as and when 5G networks proliferate in the next 10 years, we'll start talking about 6G networks proliferating, as and when devices become more powerful, more affordable, and as and when more people start upgrading from feature phones to smartphones. After a point of time, people will also be multi-deviced, right? Not one smartphone, but people will have multiple smartphones. So that market opportunity continues to exist. But the one that we're truly excited about is about AIoT products and smart home and leading a smarter lifestyle. With proliferation of capacity and capability in AI, with greater integration between these devices, the smart consumer who has high disposable income will increasingly leverage technology to make his or life smarter. right? Whether it's inside the home, inside the house, in the car, in the office, while traveling elsewhere, right? In terms of smart lamps, smart bulbs, smart air conditioner, smart, I don't know, gas, smart whatever, right? When something is connected to the internet and has access to the cloud and has multiple sensors, it is left to human creativity on the number of applications that you can create there, right? So and therefore we believe this notion of the connected ecosystem will be huge over the course of the next 10 years in India, and we want to be at the forefront, pioneering the connected ecosystem, just as we did with smartphones in India, right? And if I were to just quantify this, there are probably about 300 million households in India, right? The first goalpost that we have set for, the first milestone we have set for ourselves is, can we ensure that every household has at least one Xiaomi product? It need not be a phone, right?
Any
It could
Xiaomi product,
it could be a smartwatch, it could be like a neck band, it could be a smart lamp, it could be whatever it is, right? A television, a tablet. But hey, can we start with one Xiaomi device in every household in this country? And then can I see what percentage can get to one more device, and then one more device, and then one more device, right? Because all of these are working so well together, it becomes increasingly more compelling for you to consider the next device to be from the house of Xiaomi, because getting that will ensure network effects kick in and will make the experience substantially better for you. So 700 million is not just a number. There is, of course, a lot of strategic thought behind it, and this will continue to be one of those North Star goals that inspire us over the next decade.
I think perfectly summed up. And I think also sort of comes a full circle, because like you said, that entire ecosystem at play, having the contextual awareness and sort of ensuring that these things work all together sort of makes sense. And I think we are already seeing a lot of that benefit happen in the current portfolio itself. And the next decade looks even more promising.
I mean,
So-
even next year is looking already more promising.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we know of the portfolio and all that. So next year we've got a lot of cool things coming in. How do we step up from here?
That's true.
I can't even imagine what will happen in 3 years.
3 years, true.
So
I think,
should
yeah,
be
with
interesting.
the pace at which things are going, like you said, maybe 10 years is way beyond what we can imagine, but 2-3 years itself is a major
Well,
impact.
that was
But-
a frustrating teaser from Anuj, no, just hinting and not saying anything more.
yeah, but I think that's a good cliffhanger for everyone, though. So next year, and even this year, in fact, like we've had some great launches. So hopefully next year we can do even better. But looking forward to that. And as always, if you guys have any questions, do let us know in the comment section below. Any feedback as well. That's it. Thank you so much, Murali. Thank you so much, Anuj. See you guys in the next one. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.